Hi, my name is Justin Tilas, and welcome to the Demetrix Rare Access series. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Gruber, process engineer at Demetrix. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So, Jeremy, would you just mind letting everybody know your background and current role here at Demetrix?
Of course, yeah. So my background is with a chemical engineering degree from Penn State. Upon graduation, I sort of took a different career path and was excited to get into winemaking, which was something I hadn't really been involved with growing up. It wasn't an affiliation I had, and I didn't grow up in a wine growing region. But I really enjoyed the balance of creative and technical work that was associated with it. So it was a really incredible opportunity to work hands-on and create a tangible product that people could enjoy. So I got into winemaking where I did my first harvest in New Zealand at a winery called Villa Maria in Hawke's Bay, which is on the North Island. And immediately fell in love with the process and the culture and the product. And from there, I decided to continue with this and moved up to Sonoma, where I did my second harvest at the Donham Estate in Sonoma. And then I landed a full-time position rather than a harvest intern role, and I continued growing from there. So I was in winemaking for about 3 years, and then more recently, about 6 months ago, I pivoted back towards a more, I guess, traditional role for a chemical engineer where I joined Demetrix. So here at Demetrix, I'm a process engineer with a high throughput process engineering team, where it's myself, Jeff, Carrie, and Jonathan, and we work with our Amber system, which we're fermenting 250 milliliter bioreactor tanks with some yeast strains.
So, kind of moving on to your team in high throughput process engineering, what are some of the goals and objectives for your group?
Yeah, of course. So I guess the overall structure of how things are working with Demetrix is we have our strain engineers, and these people are making strains and making genetic edits to these strains, and they're able to create strains on the magnitude of maybe thousands per year, and they're able to test and analyze these strains. And the ones that perform well are good hits come to my team, the high throughput process engineering team. And we're able to test strains on the magnitude of hundreds per year. So rather than being in the scale of microliters and tiny little reactions, we're doing a bit bigger with 250 milliliter bioreactors. And the goal of my team is to be able to accurately rank the performance of strains and be representative of how these strains would perform at larger scale. And so the strains that are great hits and that perform well will promote up to our upstream processing team, which goes from our scale of 250 milliliters up to 10 liters, 1,000 liters, 10,000 liters, and so on.
Okay, and so within your group, what are some of the current focuses and projects for you right now?
Yeah, so the main focus always is strain screening. So this is the process where we take good hits from the strain engineering team, run these, and then take these best hits and bring them up to the USP team where they go larger scale. But in addition to this, we also are constantly improving our process because as the strains improve, they're able to handle more aggressive processes. And if we weren't updating our process, then the strains would sort of clump together and all seem to be performing at their glass ceiling. So is one of my favorite aspects of the role, but being able to do some process development and being able to see how we could continue pushing these strains is something I enjoy because it really gets back to the whole creativity and outside of the box thinking that's necessary to push the process forward.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's always, new and innovative ideas you kind of have to generate to, make sure the strains are performing at their best.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's sometimes where maybe our upstream team is running into a problem that was unforeseeable here, but fortunately in our scale, we're able to run a lot of tests on a small scale. So it's great when they see a problem and we come together as a team and collaborate to see how can we fix this and mitigate the issues that we're not missing our deadlines and milestones.
So, Jeremy, I know you said you joined Demetrix around 6 months ago. So I'd love to hear from you what you enjoy most about working with the company.
Of course. Yeah, great question. What stood out to me the most when I was learning about the company and going through the interview process was the process itself. So the idea that we'd be able to make cannabinoids but on a far more sustainable level rather than farming fields and fields and using water and burning fossil fuels for fertilizer, but being able to do it in bioreactors where it's far more sustainable was super intriguing to me. because these molecules are definitely beneficial to humans, but finding a way to produce them that's environmentally benign, I think is necessary as they become more and more popular. So yeah, overall, the mission was, and such a fascinating process too. It's like this, like I said, but this alchemy where you can create a molecule that yeast have no desire or intention of making, but being able to manipulate their genome to be able to do that is super cool. Outside of the mission, the culture here is something that really has stood out to me in my first 6 months. It's in an R&D role, it may be more common, but it's a highly collaborative atmosphere where we have people from all different backgrounds coming together. So if one group has a problem, it's very common that we'll just all come together in a meeting and each group will share data and information that they have from their own processes. We see how can this potentially solve the problem. And we get some really outside the box ideas, and oftentimes those end up being the solutions. And I've been able to learn so much from people of different backgrounds just based on this collaborative nature.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the one common theme I've heard from everybody. It's just the collaboration of the group, being able to share ideas and kind of move some processes forward.
Totally, yeah.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you sharing your thoughts, Jeremy. It's a very insightful interview. And again, everybody, this is the latest Rare Access interview. My name's Justin, and thanks for joining us, Jeremy.
Of course, thanks for having me.